So just starting on general health and well-being, I've come across this before in the Himalayan Institute teaching. I've come across it in another thing, and it came up in some Chinese medicine stuff that I was looking at. Just pulling along the tops of your ears, pulling down, activates qi in the 5 areas of the blood, so that's your general energy levels. Either pulling or just, you do that for about a minute. But I just wanted to introduce that. I'm not sure if anyone's online, but just everybody who might be watching it afterwards, just you're going down the outside of the ear. So the ear represents the body, and it's apparently activating the qi all your throughout your body. And the next one is brilliant for your face, brain, also eyesight. And again, I know this to be true in Ayurveda. Just bringing your fingertips down, almost draining out. It's like the lymphatic system would be down there, but just draining down there for, again, they say a minute behind. Just down there. I don't know if you've got anything to add there, Charlotte, from a medical perspective, what you might be accessing down here.
Sort of auricular nerve, facial nerve on this side. Yeah. Lymphatics nerve in the bottom of the neck, and you've got the jugular vein as well. If you go down the neck, training that.
Those are also pressure points in Indian head massage as well.
Ah, okay.
So
So that was that. And then the third one, to complete the trio, is almost pulling your ears out, like big ears. And again, it might hurt just pulling your ears out for about a minute, but we're obviously not going to do that.
Feeling upset.
Yeah. Stay out. So again, that's kind of quite interesting, and it's supposed to promote all kinds of health benefits in the Chinese medicine world. And then the other thing that I meant to say, perhaps to Joss at some point, perhaps I won't, it cropped up that if you just bring your fingers to either side of your knees where that dent is, right at the top of where the tibia is, which is done here, that is supposed to have a direct positive effect on your eyesight. So that infers then, because it must be through the energy meridians running up, there's like a dent either side.
that would be in that meridian. Yeah.
That meridian. But conversely, if you've broken your tibia, or cracked a bit off, or whatever you've done, that would infer that your eyesight might be adversely affected. So I'd be very interested to know that if she has any, if she needs more glasses or just glasses a little more, or headaches or something, you can do it probably more easily sitting down. But that's supposed to rejuvenate your eyesight.
That correlates to a fibula break as well, the tibia break.
Well, you've got tibial plateaus at the top here, so the fibula's down to the side,
Yeah.
so
That's what
I don't know. But I suppose would it be in the same energy meridian? I mean, I guess it's up here, isn't it? It's coming up to about here. So it's going to be in the same. But the fibula sort of plugs into the side of the tibia, naturally.
So, yes. I would
It was a long time ago, 2015. Still had a swollen calf. The body's kindly still making fluid. That one's bigger, I don't know if you can
It is
tell.
actually, yeah.
Yeah.
You pointed it out, it's
Yeah.
slightly, isn't it?
Yeah, they said it wouldn't go.
You never noticed if you didn't.
No, I never noticed it until you said it, and then I had a look.
Yeah.
It is slightly.
Yeah, it always feels strange. It always just feels a bit strange. Fuzzy. I can't describe it.
People's got slight nerve injury.
Yeah, I think I have got a few bit of damage. He said it was catastrophic soft tissue damage. The consultant
Oh,
of it.
Oh, that's why then.
But then,
A bit horrified at the time. I thought, this sounds awful.
Yeah,
In a wheelchair.
Was it skiing or something?
That's just
No,
a
I just
medical
took out the chair at
concern.
work.
Oh, God.
My ankle gave way. You know when somebody had a sudden ankle
Yes,
gave
yeah.
way? It did that really, because I was rushing
Mm.
to go to the loo, because the girl I worked with wanted to go home. She wasn't feeling very well. That was me who went off in an ambulance, not her. So I think it's quite amusing when you talk about it at the time. It's awful. Because then I got up to rectify what I'd done. I felt the crack. And then I went this way and I smacked my head on the wall and I knocked myself out. All in like about a few seconds before she'd even turned around in her swivel chair. She just looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" I wish I could say it was something, exotic, but it wasn't.
Again, I don't know why, but in the Chinese thing, they said that just almost pinching, not pinching, but just massaging up there from almost the either side of the ankle bone up confers again huge health benefits. But I don't know what that would be. I mean, I've got a feeling they've got other meridians there, stomach maybe, kidney, life generally, or maybe just blockages
Well, that
in the
also
neck.
ties into your lower lymphatic system up from your ankles. So
It's in the Chinese.
This is Chinese, again, it was just fascinating, just almost, so that would suggest, again, that's sounding that's perhaps not the best way to do it, but just, and then going up to about the calf, and then going down again, up and down, just kind of boosting everything up. That, I wish I could remember exactly what that was, but it's supposed to confer huge health benefits, so quite interesting.
For me,
So maybe you need to do that. Or just be aware that if anything, because if anything hurts, it means that it's kind of blocked.
right.
So it's just freeing things off. But you only need to do it a couple of times a day or once a day or something, and you apparently get benefits. So coming back to yoga then, we've done that. I'll try not to burn myself. I'll move the candle up. Lift and roll your shoulders back. Breathing in, turn the head to the left. Breathing out, turn the head to the right. In to the left. And out to the right. Come back to the centre. And then breathing in, raise the hands. Clasp and reverse. Breathing out. Lower. So another thing, this is all within yoga and qigong. Two movements again for complete upper health. This is one of them, and this is one of the opening sequences that you'll find in qigong, Chinese breathwork system. And then part two, to lift and roll shoulders, is clasping the hands behind, and that, well, they didn't say why that's so good, but it opens the shoulders, opens the lung meridians, and opens the kidneys, which is your vital essence. So again, it's uplifting for the mood. So you're ticking a lot of boxes doing this here. And then just release. Just shake the hands out. Do your hula hoop for your abdominal health, your organs, swelling one way and then swirling the other way. And then feet a little bit perhaps together as you circle your knees in one direction. And then circle the knees in the other direction. And then sliding up. Lift one heel, maybe bring it out to be comfortable, and circle the ankle in one way, one direction, I can't speak, and then circle it in the opposite direction. And then the other side. And then feet together. I'm going to begin to do some salutes to the sun. You know which bits you don't like. Always bring the knees to the ground at any point, but if you want to carry on with your gym challenge, your plank, which is not for everybody. So, coming to the top of the mat, we'll come back to do some more gentle stuff. But this is gentle, but soften the knees, hands up. Look up if that's good for your neck. Then bring your head upright and draw the energy down through the centre of the body. Bend your knees. Come to place your hands on the ground and either step your right foot back and lower the right knee, or step left foot back in plank. Heels up. Then lower the knee, so you're to both knees. And then bring your bottom towards your heels to your comfort, stretching out the back. Slightly engage the perineum and the tummy back as well towards the backbone if you want to have a core focus. And then sliding forward onto your tummy in Sphinx. So you're up on your elbows, and then if optionally you can stretch forward, completely stretching out the body. You can lift your heels, tucking the toes under so that you're really stretching one leg and then the other, and then both legs back. Taking a breath in and out. And then relaxing the legs a little bit and sliding the hands back to Sphinx again. Press your elbows down, pull yourself forward. And then relax. Tummy in as you come to kneeling. Your elbows, and then want to place your hands on the floor so that you're in on all fours. And then just sway your bottom from side to side. And then tuck the toes. You can either carry on swaying your bottom or do cat-cow. We're going to come to standing, but come via dog. So the options are there. If you're coming to dog, tuck your toes under you, lift your bottom, stretch your bottom away from you so that you're lengthening your back, and then begin to lengthen the legs, and feel that you can widen the feet to greater than hip width apart, and perhaps bring your feet slightly closer to your hands, and then walk the dog. So everyone's going to be different on their ideal dog. Walk the dog by bending one knee and then bending the other. Tummy in still. Feel that you're pressing down with your thumb and second finger so that will just secure you, shoulders are into the sockets. And then really bend your knees as you walk your feet to your hands to your feet, but however you want to come up. Soften your knees and draw them up, vertebra by vertebra to standing. Lifting and roll the shoulders. And then as you roll the shoulders again, clasp behind you, open the shoulders, knuckles aim to the ground, and then release the hands. Slide the hands down the backs of the legs to either side of your feet, and slide or step your left foot back. Again, knee down or knee up if you want to come into plank. And then lower the knees to the ground. Uncurl your toes and bring your bottom towards your heels. Stretching out, lower back, tummy in, to support your back, engage your core. And then again, slide forward onto your tummy, into Sphinx. And then open your arms to the side and rest your head, your forehead, on the backs of your hands. Widen your knees, lift your feet, and just sway from side to side. So this, funnily enough, is also a hip opening. Helpful for the lower back. Come to the centre with your feet, lower your legs to the ground, bring your knees in a little bit. And then slide your hands back to your chest, so your elbows are up and in. Press down with your hands, come back to kneeling. And some classic cat cow, dipping the back, looking up, breathing out, rounding. Breathing in, dipping the back. Look up if that's good for your neck, otherwise look down on the ground. And rounding, chin to chest. And again, a couple of times to your own breath pattern. You're mobilising the spine. And then next time you come to round your back, tuck your toes. This is optional again if you don't want to do dog. Come into dog, but otherwise eventually we're going to make our way up to standing. Bent knees, lengthen the back, then think about lengthening the legs and moving your feet to be wherever you want to be, looking at the dog. Relax your head so that you're not holding any tension. And then just gently walk your feet to your hands to your feet. Soften your knees. And roll up to standing. Lift and roll your shoulders. So this lifting and rolling your shoulders is supposed to open the energy pathways or the gateways up into the head. And in yoga and Ayurveda, they're very simplistic about it. All the diseases of the upper head, in their view, is that it's blocked energy travelling to the head. It can get blocked by stress and tension at the neck and the shoulders, mental attitude. So this lifting and rolling the shoulders is really important to open the energy pathways and to allow energy and prana to travel up to the head. And they classify all the dementias as a disease of the head that will benefit from this, and also Parkinson's. And then with regard to the brain hemispheres coordinating, kind of correlating, speaking to one another, this very simple breathe in as you turn your head to the left, breathing out as you turn your head to the right. And if you feel stiff in your neck, you can linger a couple of breaths into the left. Not only is this believed to be helpful for the coordination of the brain hemispheres, but this sideways turning the head also is believed to, again, this is purely in Ayurvedic terms, is believed to be helpful towards your thyroid and parathyroid glands, as well as obviously helpful for the neck. And the thyroid gland, again, in Ayurvedic terms, I don't know about medical terms, I'd be interested in your view, connects into the adrenals. So if the adrenals get exhausted, stressed out, it can impact the thyroid, particularly when it comes to autoimmune. So that obviously being genetically disposed, you would have to be genetically disposed, but for autoimmune conditions to have the chance to flourish. So this is very helpful for that. But I'm interested in any medical view there, because this is just Ayurvedic view.
The thyroid and adrenals come from the same embryological origin. So,
I didn't know that.
yeah, so
Interesting. That is interesting, isn't
yeah.
it? They knew a lot in those days, but how they knew it, I don't know. Because, and I don't know, I can't quote off the top of my head, every chakra or energy point that correlates along with the glands links into another one. So I know that the parathyroid and the adrenals connect in, the thyroid and adrenals connect in, and I also know that the stomach connects into the eyes as well, because they're both the element of fire. And if people have digestive issues, that often their eyesight can go, and if people have a lot of stress in their life, often I've noticed that their eyesight then a few months later just takes a dip, maybe the whole body takes a bit of a dip. That affects their eyesight. So hands together at the heart centre, Soften the knees. Hands up, stretch up, look up. Bring your head to upright, palms together, come through the centre. Do a half salute to the sun here. Hands onto the shins, half lift. If you want an extra support, bring your perineum slightly engaging up and your tummy towards your spine. Breathe out, soften. Let your neck really relax. Breathe in, half lift. And stay here as you breathe out. And then breathing in, soften your knees, press your feet down and roll up to standing. Breathing in, raising the arms up. Thumbs together. And then just sway in the breeze. This is supposed to be, again, very helpful for relieving pain, funnily enough, because it impacts the Vata dosha, which includes the element of air. And the Vata dosha, being out, is responsible for pain in the body. And then circle your wrists down. And again, hands together at the heart centre. Soften the knees, another half salute, stretching up. You can just open your fingers as you're stretching your hands. And then bring the hands together, bring your head to upright, coming through the centre, soften the knees. Slide your hands down onto your shins. Half lift. Stretching out along the spine, tummy in, perineum engages. Breathing out, soften in. Breathing in, half lift. And stay here as you breathe out. Soften the knees, press your feet down and roll up. You can even use your hands to slide along to help you. Raising the arms up. And just circle the wrists down. Just lifting and rolling the shoulders again. And again, half salute to the sun. Softening the knees. Stretch up. Head upright as you draw the energy down through the centre of the body. Sliding hands onto the shins. Half lift. Breathing out, soften in. Half lift. And stay here. Breathe out. And breathing in, soften the knees and roll up to standing. Hands up. Stretch, open your fingers, and then just circle the wrists down, and then circle the wrists the other way. Just flick your fingers out, and then just release. So talking about eyes, there are many eye exercises. This one's a very simple one. It's modification of Warrior One. So step your right foot out and your left foot is about 45 degrees. To feel balance, maybe you put your foot out a little bit further to the right, just to feel balanced. And then just make a very loose fist with your right hand. And this familiar, softening your elbow if you need to, just circle the arm forward. Your eyes are watching your thumb. So this becomes an eye exercise, it becomes a neck exercise, and it becomes a shoulder exercise, and it's a mindfulness practice. Your perspective you can't focus on stressing when your eyes are just moving like this. And it's believed that the lifting of the eyes disconnects the eyes from the stress centres of the brain. So I don't know where the stress centres are. But then, just when you're ready, reverse the circle. And if you'll stiffen your shoulders, then always just bend your elbow. Because you're going slowly, you're going to pick up any crunchiness or minimal damage because this kind of overarm just release and then just soften your knee, front and right knee as you come into your warrior one and breathing out. Lengthen. The bowlers in cricket will not do that swirling forward very fast, and that's where they can have injury because we're doing it so slowly. You're not gonna. So this is very good for weight bearing and breathing in. Raise your hands to where you're comfortable, looking forward or up. Hold the breath and then breathing out lower. It becomes, any of the warriors are good for osteoporosis because you're weight bearing, and this is one of them. Not that we need to worry about that, but who knows. Do we automatically lose bone?
Yes, you do some, yes. It's in ways.
If you're an HRT, you don't, do you?
No, not so much, but
Don't give you something else.
Left foot forward. I was reading about.
it's also genetic as well. I mean,
Oh, is it?
genetic component to it.
I know when I had that break,
Mm.
Ellie was 50. And said anyone who made it 50 with a fracture, he said offered a DEXA scan.
Oh,
So I had one then.
right.
Yes. Yeah.
I think there must be Davina McCall who's done all this, going on about testosterone being the new thing. But then I read a report and it said, oh, it's been great, I feel wonderful. I just put the patch on my tummy and shave off all the hairs that grow on me. Actually, I thought, I want a hairy tummy, really.
No.
That's, is it good for you to fuel your body with testosterone? I don't
It's just
know.
getting the balance right.
I think we
isn't
do
it?
have some.
Yeah.
It's a bit overrated apparently. Some people do better than others on it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just increases your libido quite a bit.
Yeah.
Some people do a bit.
I
Under
would rather
control.
not have prickly hairs on my stomach.
And then when you're ready, reverse it the other way.
It might help, improve your muscle mass or something like that.
It's like
It's
liver,
got very
isn't it?
mixed results.
It's just a fine balance of everything, and it's different with everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
I prefer not to look around.
too.
would you get a moustache as well?
Probably.
I've got one anyway.
I've got one
Take
anyway.
it.
The problem is it's blonde, and unless I put it in really high light and a strong mirror, I can't see it, although everyone else probably can.
No.
No, no.
And then softening the knees and lower. So this is the warrior one variation. And lower. And then to where it's comfortable, hold the breath. And lower. And step your foot back. And you're very familiar side to side. So when we pulled our ears, that's meant to go into the 5 energy Chinese areas of the body and qi, they call it qi, which is your life force. And here, this is Ayurvedic now, this we're into the Indian medicine, but there's so many overlaps. This, again, is supposed to move all the 5 energies of the body. And there's some more way. Because Ayurvedic, and Chinese would say that where there's a stagnation of energy, a build-up of energy, where it's not flowing properly, which can include when you've had a break or an operation, because you've got scar tissue, so it can just block the energy flow. That is a form of stagnation, and stagnation is the antithesis of great health, need and energy flow. So then that's why perhaps massaging your heels or ankles or above your knee could be quite nice just to keep things moving. But I mean, I think we all go through life, who hasn't got scars or fallen over or bashed yourself or cut your finger or done something. Or the soft tissue, I tend to fall over my left ankle. which apparently is a brain thing. There's a brilliant book written by a Dutch doctor called We Are Our Brains. He reviews anything, cystic fibrosis or any kind of birth things that happen as coming, originating much further back, not just the weakness comes from the brain. It is quite medical, which is like, oh goodness. But again, it was one of our book club books that always stuck in my mind. I've watched it a few books for it.
Yeah, interesting actually. Yeah. What's his name? I don't remember.
Dr. somebody or other, he's Dutch, but
Dutch,
obviously it's written in English. I'll have to have a look on my bookshelf.
Oh yeah, no, I was very interested actually. Yeah.
It's quite fun.
Is he a neurologist? Is that his background?
I can't remember.
No.
I can't remember. He is, yes, quite fascinating. But then just come to stillness, because lift and roll your shoulders again, and then hands together, and then come to sit on the mat, legs out in front of you. Because in graphology, handwriting analysis, it reflects your brain pattern. So your character is reflected in your writing, because writing reflects your brain patterns. And you can tell when someone's very ill, and the spidery writing of older people, and then the big sort of things, gosh, they're unbalanced, they're not even keel, and then the very flowy, creative, arty writing. You can just, any of us can look at it and think, but you can then define the characters a bit more, which is quite fun, but yeah. But the brain, the patterns of the brain. So your feet, toes up and toes away a few times. So this is boosting the circulation. And just start to circle the ankles. In my genetic testing that I've had back, one of the things it said about me was it's a natural genetic predisposition, unfortunately, for soft tissue damage. And they came back with that, which is completely true. Which I thought, But at least, so then on that basis, you just have to be very aware of your movement, try and walk properly in terms of not hurried or watch where you're going, just engage the whole foot and not rush anywhere in a hurry. So if you were playing netball in a fast turnaround or something, that's where you could cause, or whereas I could now, cause a bit of damage, but we're unlikely to be doing that. So this is very, very interesting. As I said to you, Charlotte, I wonder if we're quite similar in that, sort of like high carbs kind of works out. So
try that testing actually, see what it comes up with.
How did you do that?
So
Online?
I did it, I bought it online. I did a complete muck up. At Forest Mere I did it at Champneys, and they sent me a DNA fit test. Yes, circle your ankle. And if you want to just try that, well, you've got that there as well. And then I bought online Circle DNA, but they're linked to the same company. So stupidly, I have gone for slightly different tests. I've got my second test results, apparently they've just come through. It's a saliva swab. You then have to register online, and you can download an app, and you can then either get your results on the computer, or you sign in.
I did DNA for Ancestry when I was researching my tree, but it didn't come up with health stuff, just which part of the world I came from.
You can have different, the full-on test gives you everything, but I didn't feel like spending the full-on amount, so it just gave me, I wanted to find out the best diet for my genetic type. And to just, if you want to thread your fingers through, if you can't bear it, put your hands over. Because I was thinking, well, if you eat food that naturally is in tune with you genetically, presumably you'll find that easier to follow, because it suits you better.
Yeah.
So I'm still getting my head around what some of the things that they've said, so just...
Do they give you your intolerances as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
So just lifting up.
Which is difficult because sometimes you like the thing that saying you don't have, aren't you?
I think they say you follow that, if you follow that, something like 80-20 or 90, but you know, if you, in the majority of times, you're fine to go off limit and have a complete binge. As long as you remember that, then just go on again.
If I find out I can't have red wine, I think I just have to
Oh, loads of nonsense.
I've got wine on my one.
Okay.
Just wine, it doesn't say which colour. I'm still drinking.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that I thought, oh, that's interesting, and Moms had that, says a particularly high reaction to toxins. So if anything's off, I will go down much more quickly than the average person. And I can't tell you how many countries with Phil as well, waddled on and off planes with food poisoning. He's been absolutely fine. We've had the same. Puffed, tummy out, not able to eat any of the food on the plane, completely miserable. So I remember Mum can react very badly to shellfish, like mussels, and I've had a few
A
where
lot of
perhaps
people have shellfish, don't they?
if it's off, if it's good, lovely, but if it's off, I
You
really,
instantly get on well.
I will really quickly get on well. Just so perhaps like the Jewish people do, you should eat it
Well, they consider them dirty. don't they?
dirty
Yeah.
because of the way
It's the way that they-
whatever.
Way
Well,
that
they filter water,
that
don't
they
they?
use.
How
Yeah.
about
Probably.
sewage outlets?
Yeah.
Yes, they do,
they,
yes.
yeah,
Mussels and
yeah, they're filterers, aren't they? So you get all the crap if they're not good.
All the crap sits in their digestive system next to the meat that you will eat. And like particularly mussels, you eat a whole lot really. So you're eating.
mussels. Well, that was another one of my ones, mussels.
But oysters, they clean them, don't they? Because they put them in filtration beds. They farm them and then they put them in clean water, don't they?
I haven't realised that. That's interesting.
You know, they pull them out of the sea. They farm them on all sorts of sort of cables or whatever in the sea, and then they pull them out of the sea and put them in these clean water beds for a little while, and then they send them off to the shops. So they have a couple of days. It's like you clean snails before you eat them. You put them in porridge oats or something like that. I actually shared a house with another student who was deciding to eat snails from the garden.
Are you
Like
a
students do.
cheap alternative?
Yeah, I know.
Any
They're
old
not
snails.
supposed to be edible. You said special types.
They
of
carry
snails.
lungworm,
Oh, she's
don't
bad
they?
for hatter,
Oh,
actually,
they
but she
They
did.
carry lungworm because the dog has to be
Yeah.
had boosters, yeah. That's where they pick up lungworm from, dogs and snails.
Oh, really? Well, anyway, she was putting these snails on porridge oats for, like a week or something like that before she then ate them. I didn't have any, I have to say, I just thought,
I suppose they take out all the bad stuff.
yes, it takes out, basically it cleans out the gut of the snail. You see, if you eat porridge oats for a week, and
Disgusting.
she's quite eccentric, actually.
We went down
I
to see.
don't like porridge, that's all right then.
Yes, we didn't eat them. She didn't see this porridge oats afterwards.
Went down to see Jamie in Bristol, which was the kitchen, and one of his mates had defrosted a giant pack of chicken, like cheap chicken, left it on a windowsill, and the sun had come round, and they'd forgotten about it, and the smell was something else.
Oh.
So Jamie said, someone were eating that later, and Phil said, I don't think so,
No,
it's gone off.
Yeah.
So, yes. So just that, and then we're going to come to just stretching forward a little bit, lead with your chest, just coming forward, not to aiming to go as far as you can, just aiming to be comfortable. Just altering the breath focus slightly into your back. Calming for the nervous system if you relax your neck. And then just very gently sitting up, and then coming to lying on our backs, and knees up, and feet either hip width apart, or you've got an option of being wider than hip width apart, more towards the edges of the mat, and that will depend on your comfort level as we start palms down or on your tummy, swaying your knees from side to side. The knees can go down a little bit or they can go down a lot. You can lift your hips off the ground. So this is classified as the very beginnings of rotation, which is one of the back movements of perfect back health. But you're also massaging across your top of your bottom, of course. Is it your sacrum?
Sacrum, yeah.
And you might find that your head's rolling as well. And you might want to linger with your knees to one side. Your knees might not touch the ground, mine don't. And feel the stretch on one side. You're supposed to have your shoulders relaxed on the floor. That can be difficult sometimes. And then just bring your knees upright and then just linger for a couple of breaths perhaps on the other side. The opposite hip lifts. And then coming back to the centre. And then hug one knee and the other knee into the chest. Hold comfortably and then just rock from side to side. And you can rock a little bit or you can rock right over onto the backs, the top of the back of the arm. And then just lower your right foot down to the ground. Still keep your left foot hugged in, your left knee hugged in towards you. And then for the hips, just circle the left knee a few times in one direction. And then circle your knee, your left knee a few times in the opposite direction. Then drop your hands behind your left thigh to support the left leg as you raise your left foot to the ceiling. And if you extend your left heel, you'll feel the stretch all the way along the back of your left leg. And then if you walk your hands up the back of the left leg, you'll bring the left leg towards you. Only go as far as you can without spraining. In other words, if your chin shoots up to the ceiling, you've gone too far. Back of the neck should be long. And then just very gently bend your left knee into the chest. Open your left knee to the left and place your left ankle to your right thigh. Palms can be resting on your abdomen or palms down on the floor. And again, just rock from side to side with your knees. You're opening, this is like an upside down pigeon, so it's very a nice hip opener. Opens your hip externally. So for people who are internally rotated, it's quite a nice, easy way to get an external opening. Sometimes sitting cross-legged or with your feet together in Baddha Konasana can be a bit much for if you're not naturally rotating externally. And you're going into the lower lymphatic, the lower lymphatic system as well. The inner hip. And then just hug the left knee into the chest. As you breathe in, still hold the knee, let it drift arm's length. And just a few times hugging the knee into the chest as you breathe out. And as you breathe in, let the knee drift arm's length. Just very gently supporting the leg wherever it's easy to support, to let the left foot go back down to the ground. And just a couple of sways of your knees from side to side. And then bring your focus to your right side as you hug your right knee to your chest. And just circle your right knee a few times one direction. And then circle the knee in the opposite direction. And then hugging the right knee into the chest, drop the hands that hold underneath your right leg and just extend the right leg up to the ceiling and extend the right heel. And again, really feel that stretch along the back of the right leg. And then optionally, you can start to walk the hands up the back of the right leg. The right leg will come towards you. Again, only go as far as you can go without shooting your chin up to the ceiling. Even here, you can engage your perineum and your tummy back towards your spine to engage your core. That's an option. It's supposed to be always like that, but we tend to forget. And then just very gently bend your right knee into your chest and open the right knee to the right and place the right ankle on top of the left thigh, hands either wherever's comfortable. You can rest them on the thigh, you can have them down on your abdomen, just wherever works. Just sway your knees from side to side as we do an upside down pigeon or a figure of four on the right side now. The hip can lift as you sway. And then just hug the right knee into the chest and still holding it, come to just let it drift to arm's length. A few times hugging it back in. And then hugging your right knee into the chest, let your left knee come up so that you're hugging both knees into the chest. And then both knees into the chest, both knees drift away to arm's length. Just a few of these. This almost like massage effect, your body weights going into the mat, onto the earth, is almost creating a self-massage. So it's getting blood kind of flow into that lower back area. And then just dropping the hands underneath the thighs to support the legs and the feet as well as you lower the feet down to the ground. Just move your feet to the outer edges of the mat and drop your knees to touch. It's called constructive rest. And just bend your elbows and raise your hands above you. You can perhaps clasp your hands underneath your head and open your elbows. You'll feel that pull across the chest, so you're going into the upper lymphatic system here. For a couple of breaths. If that's too strong or it's pulling too much under the arm, then raise your elbows slightly upwards, which will reduce that pull. So we've looked at the lower lymphatic system. This is looking at the upper lymphatic system and stretching across the chest. It's a very simple exercise, but it creates perhaps a bigger pool than you might think. Stretching out under the arms, again, is giving space all around the lymph nodes. And then just focusing on your core, as you breathe out, flatten your lower back to the ground. You can bring your elbows slightly together as you lift your head, support of your clasped hands up off the mat. If your tummy starts, but then you've gone too far, you're not going to come very far. And then just breathing out, just relax the head back down to the mat. And then do that once more, breathing out, lifting up, flattening the back, lower back. Feel the tummy engage, the abdominal muscles release back down. If you want a slightly different take on that as you come up next time, optionally, you can just twist to the left, and that will just have a slightly different focus, just a little bit or a lot. Straighten out to come down. And optionally again, as you come up, you can twist to the left, picking off your left shoulder. You're aiming to keep your lower back on the ground. Just secure the pose and then come back. And once your head's on the ground, you can just slide your hands out from underneath. And then just come to rest. You can either stretch your legs out or stay in constructive rest. Hands either up alongside you, or you can rest them on your tummy if you want. And just bring your attention to the feet. Relax your feet and relax and think of the space beyond your feet. What energy extends beyond our physical body. Relaxing the shins and the calves, the knees and the backs of the knees, the thighs, the hips heavy into the ground, the lower abdominal area coming up through to the chest and up to the collarbones, just smoothing mentally with your mind across the collarbones, opening and just letting your shoulders sink into the ground. And then relaxing along the upper arms to the elbows, the backs of the elbows and the side of the elbows, and along the lower arms to the wrists, the backs of the hands, the palms, the fingers, and the space beyond the fingers. Bring your attention to your lower back and follow your energy all the way along up the back of the spine, vertebra by vertebra, between the shoulder blades, all the way up to the base of the neck, back of the head, the ears, the space between the ears, the top of the head, and across the head down to the forehead. Relaxing and smoothing across the eyebrows to the eyes. Relaxing the eyes. Just expanding out, going down the cheeks, to the chin, the throat. And then just move your attention up to your lower and upper lips. The teeth relax. And bring your attention to the base of the nostrils. Breathing in, breathing in to a place that you imagine is the centre of your head. And as you breathe out, your out breath takes away anything that's not going to serve you today. Any pain, nickel, stress, any emotion. Just put it all into the out breath and it leaves through the body and through the soles of the feet going back to the earth. Just a couple more breaths, breathing in through the nostrils at the base of the nose. just assume the point that you imagine to be the centre of your head and putting into your out breath anything that's not serving you today, cleansing your body and your mind. And then choose a colour, any colour that resonates with you today, and your next breath in is coloured, with your colour choice, coloured breath. And as you breathe out, again you're putting anything into that out breath. And it just floats out through the base of the feet. And then just mentally wrap your colour like an aura all the way around you, an auric egg or candy floss, sealing in positivity, keeping out negativity, only positive things can float in. And then just let that thought go. Begin to become aware of the sounds both inside the room and outside. Become aware of the clothes that you're wearing, the texture against your skin. And then when you're ready, you can start to move to make your way eventually to a seated position. You might like to hug your knees into your chest and roll from side to side. If you want to roll up to seated, perhaps roll to your right away from the heart. And in your own time, come up to a seated position. Sitting up. And then just take your hands to the forehead, kind thoughts. Just drop your hands down to the lips, kind words. And drop your hands down to the heart, kind deeds. Bowing your chin to your chest, taking a bow for yourself.